At the top left of your workspace, you can see the different types of views you can select while modeling. When you select the world option, all the buildings you have in your workspace can be viewed. In the next option, building, you can select which building you want to see. If your building has multiple floors, you can select which floor you want to work on. And finally, which room in that floor you want to model. In this case, only the bedroom will be visible so that you can focus on the modeling here. When you pan around your model in this view, any wall which might disrupt your viewing of the interior turns invisible automatically. You are only allowed to make changes to your model in the floor or room view of your model. In all other views of your model like world and building, it will be shown in a lighter shade, which means that you are not allowed to draft in this particular views. Kindly select the floor or the room view to make any changes that you require. At the top of your workspace, you can see different tabs under which all your tools that are required to model in Infurnia are present. When you select the Home tool, you'll be able to see the first tool, which is Preferences, wherein you can set all your global preferences for your design. You have the Branch tool, wherein you can share any design that you want with someone from your organization or your customer service team if required. You also have the Undo, Redo and Move button here. The rest of the tools here are the most commonly used tools from the other tabs. When you go into the View tab, you will see different options like Lock Camera Position, Rich Floor View, which are related to how you want to view your design. When you check the Insert option, you have Furnish and Lighting. We'll be able to add different sort of furnitures like cabinets, sofas, dining tables, etc. and lights, wherein you'll be able to add ceiling light, wall light, etc. You have the draw option, wherein your 2D tools to draw are available, and the architecture tool, where you have the most important tools like wall, door, window, etc. You have the Note tab, wherein you have options for adding text, compass and dimensioning to your drawing. The Renders tab, wherein you have the different options regarding the renders, whether you want to generate a render or you want to view a render, export it, etc. The last option is the Production tab, wherein all details regarding production like schedule, pricing, cut list are available. Each of the tool in these tabs will be explained in details in the upcoming video. On the left hand side of your screen, you can see the Design Details panel. Here, when no tool or element is selected, this shows the details of the project like project name, design name, client name and project ID. However, when you activate any particular tool, like let's say I am activating the straight line tool, the preference of how you want to use the tool gets activated here, and you can make the selections as required before you start using the tool itself. If you select any particular element in your model, like let's say I am selecting this particular cabinet, then the details of this cabinet gets activated here, and you'll be able to make changes into the module however you want. Like when I have selected the kitchen module, the details like carcass, skirting, shutter, etc. are shown here, and you can make the required changes. On the bottom left of your screen, where you see the global preferences and settings, if you click on any of these, like let's say I am clicking on the layer setting, then the details of the layer setting are also shown in this particular panel itself. This is the usability of the panel here, which is called the Design Details panel. On the top right corner of your screen, you can see three options: floor plan, 3D and elevation. When you click on floor plan, the 2D drawing of your civil layout and furniture planning from a top view is shown. When you click on 3D, you can see the three-dimensional view of your entire model. When you click on elevation, you can see a drop down next to it, And whatever elevations you have already set, you can check the view of those elevations. We suggest that you use the elevation view only in rooms. First, select the room that you want to view and then select the elevation that you want to show. As you can see, this is the elevation of the kitchen. When you create elevations in floor view, there's a lot of clutter that you can see from the other rooms as well, which is not relevant. Hence, it is suggested that you use the elevation tool only in the room view. On the left bottom of your screen, under Global Preferences and Settings, you have the option called Preferences. If you click on this, you'll get the options to set your preference for the designs. Typically, the preference of whatever is set through the admin portal of your organization is accepted in your designs, but if you want to make any manual changes for the particular design, then you can definitely do that. Under select the preference, you can set in which area you want to make changes. Suppose if I select kitchen, then you can set the preference of your design for all the kitchen details. Under carcass, you'll get the option to set your core materials, the back core material, external finish, internal finish, and edge binding. For example, if you want to specify the core material, you can select the toggle option here and you'll get the option to select whichever core material you want. Suppose I want to specify it as post laminated MDF of 16 mm MDF plain. So I can select on that and the preference will be set for my entire design. Similarly, you can set the other finishes as well. This is for the carcass. You can also specify regarding the finishes of the shutter by selecting the shutter tab here. You can specify what design of the shutter you require, which means the profiling. When you select this, you have the different options like whether you want a glass shutter, a wooden shutter, and what profiling you need. You also have the option of what external finish you want by default and what are the internal finish, core material, edge binding for the same. Let's say, for example, I want to specify that the external finish of my material has to be American maple. So I'll select this and any cabinet I install hereafter will have the external finish in the shutter as American maple. You can also specify the handle that you want. First, click on Enable and under the handles option, you can select handles here and you can select whichever handle you want to specify. Let's say I'm taking antique handle. You can also specify the countertop, select finish, and under finish, you can select whichever countertop you want. Let's say I'm selecting granite of charcoal black. The same goes for skirting. Suppose I want a wooden skirting and I can specify the finish that I want in my skirting. Let me specify that I want finish as American maple again. So after setting the preferences, if you add any furniture, then let's say I'm adding a base unit. Then when you check the base unit, you can see that the carcass is a 16 mm MDF plain. The shutter is American maple. You can see that the countertop is granite solid surface. So when you set the preferences before starting the design, any furniture you add will capture those preferences by default. The same goes for wardrobes as well. If you select wardrobe here, then you can again specify the preferences for carcass, shutter, handle and skirting, and the same will be recorded when you add any furniture from wardrobes.